Good morning to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Before we go to the editorial analysis, let us have a look at the enrichment part. What are you going to learn today from this session? You're going to learn about 5 to 6 words, not too many words because it's a familiar topic. And many of these words are familiar, should not be a problem. What are these words? Breakthrough, inoculate, discernible, paradox, mutation. And today you're going to work on error location, very difficult. If you get all the five correct, you should be very happy. Sentence improvement, rather easy. Para jumble, to some extent challenging. And match two columns, column one, column two, you have to match. And not that easy. As usual, idioms. Now let us go to the editorial analysis. And what is this editorial about? How does it start? It starts with two new words. One is breakthrough challenge. The word breakthrough means a sudden, dramatic, and important discovery or development. Usually, it goes with research and development (R&D) and also scientific research. A major breakthrough. Breakthrough means what? Sudden development or important discovery. Here, breakthrough challenge, but it is a bit difficult to understand what exactly breakthrough means over here. In this context, breakthrough means the new viruses, the new variants of the virus. So, breakthrough challenges, breakthrough, yes, turning point also you can say. Breakthrough strains, new varieties of the virus. So, a challenge. All these new varieties or new variants, the variants are causing, they're quite challenging. What is the main idea of the editorial? Vaccine makers should move to making vaccines for the Delta variants. So here, breakthrough cases, basically the breakthrough challenges or breakthrough cases or the new varieties, they all go with the Delta strain. They go with Delta variants. So this editorial, the main idea of the editorial, vaccine makers, they have been focusing on a particular strain which started in China, but now so many varieties have surfaced. The editorial says they have to focus on the most dangerous one, Delta variant, and its variants rather. So they have to move to making vaccines for the Delta variants. What is the reason? If you go to the editorial, you understand. With over 66 crore vaccines administered since the vaccination drive commenced in January, India has now inoculated at least half its adult population with at least one dose and 16% with two. There's another word, inoculated. Inoculated means vaccinated. Treat with a vaccine to produce immunity against a disease or vaccinate. So this provides a statistical data. What is the statistical data? With over 66 crore vaccines administered since the vaccination drive commenced in January. The vaccination drive commenced in January. Since that time, 66 crore vaccines administered. Now, as of now, India has now inoculated at least half its adult population. Adult population 50% inoculated with at least one dose and 16% with two doses. There is a small discernible rise in the number of new infections. Why this editorial has been written? Because of the rise in the number of cases. Small, discernible. There is one important word, discernible, means perceptible, able to be discerned or to perceive, perceptible. Now, this editorial has been written keeping that in mind. There is a small, discernible rise in the number of new infections, and some states, especially Kerala, is a hotspot. Kerala, which contributes the bulk of infections, latest news says almost 70%, 66.9%, the new cases are from the state of Kerala. Kerala, which contributes the bulk of infections, also has among the highest proportions of the population who are double vaccinated. The paradox here, people are double vaccinated, still they're getting infected because of the new uh, variants. And Kerala, it talks about there's a rise in the number of new infections, one thing. And where exactly? The place is Kerala. Kerala, which contributes the bulk of infections, about 70%, also has among the highest proportions of the population who are double vaccinated. Kerala now in the limelight for two reasons. When it comes to double vaccination, they have the highest number. When it comes to the new cases, they have the highest number. That is a paradox. This apparent paradox underlies concerns about the rise in the breakthrough infections or confirmed infections in those who took the second dose at least 2 weeks earlier. So it talks about paradox. It is obviously a paradoxical situation. What is the meaning of the word paradox? A person or a thing that combines contradictory features or qualities. At the same time, you have positive aspect, negative aspect, or you have the contradictory elements existing at the same time. Then we use the word paradoxical situation. So, what is the paradox here? It has a maximum number of people who are double vaccinated. On the other hand, they have Kerala state has the maximum number of cases when it comes to the Delta variants. This apparent paradox underlies concerns about the rise in breakthrough infections or confirmed infections in those who took the second dose at least 2 weeks earlier. After the second dose, also they're getting infected. That is a bit surprising. A recent study by CSIR scientists found that nearly a quarter of 600 fully vaccinated care workers were reinfected. A recent study by CSIR, Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, scientists, they found that nearly a quarter, one fourth of 600 fully vaccinated care workers were reinfected. Reinfection is a problem over here. Earlier studies from the CMC Vellore and the PGIMER Chandigarh too have reported between 1 to 10% of fully vaccinated healthcare workers as having been infected. So here the editorial provides a substantial evidence based on the results taking into consideration the healthcare workers. So one is the scientists of CSIR, what exactly they have found. The other one, studies from the CMC Vellore and PGIMER Chandigarh, too have reported between 1% to 10% of fully vaccinated, that means they have taken both the doses, healthcare workers as having been infected. However, less than 5% of them have required hospitalization and no deaths have been confirmed, indicating the effectiveness of vaccines in preventing severe sickness and death. Now, there's something important over here. Though those who have taken both the doses, they have been reinfected, the fatality is not that serious, that severe. However, less than 5% of them have required hospitalization. No hospitalization, no deaths have been confirmed, indicating that what does it indicate? The effectiveness of vaccines in preventing severe sickness and death. They're not able to stop the Delta variant, but the vaccines are able to stop severe sickness and death. That is very something positive. Internationally, too, now the editorial talks about the international scenario. Internationally, too, the trend is clear. What is the trend? Israel and the US, in spite of high vaccination coverage, continue to report new cases. Two countries, Israel and the US, in spite of high vaccination coverage, continue to report new cases, obviously Delta variant, though here too, the infection rate is much higher in the unvaccinated. There's a difference, vaccinated, unvaccinated. Vaccinated, they're getting reinfected. But when it comes to those who are getting infected, those who are not vaccinated, there the numbers are very high. The prime suspects. Now, what are the reasons behind, or what is responsible for this reinfection? The editorial talks about that. The prime suspects internationally as well as in India are the Delta variants and the related sublineages that are believed to form the bulk of coronavirus infections. Yes, here it talks about the source of reinfection. The prime suspects internationally as well as in India are the Delta variants and related sublineages. There's one word over here, lineage, direct descent from an ancestry or pedigree, from father to son, son to grandson. It goes that way. That's what we call lineage. The Indian SARS-CoV-2 Genomics Consortium, INSA-CoG, that tracks mutations in coronavirus strains, has said that The breakthrough infections reported so far are within expected numbers. They have seen the breakthrough infections, the new varieties, the Delta variants, and these are within expected numbers. They haven't crossed the expected numbers. That is, vaccines in large controlled clinical trials had demonstrated 70 to 90% efficacy, but lost considerable ability to reduce symptomatic infections when confronted with the Delta variants, and so a certain fraction of those fully vaccinated would continue to be vulnerable. So, this talks about the efficacy of the vaccine or vaccines. Already have got the word efficacy. That is, vaccines in large controlled clinical trials had demonstrated 70 to 90% efficacy, the efficiency of a particular drug, but lost considerable ability to reduce symptomatic infections when confronted with the Delta variants. The major virus, COVID 19, for that the vaccines have been quite effective. But when it comes to Delta variants, they could not deal with it completely, and they could not reduce symptomatic infections when confronted with the Delta variants. And so a certain fraction of those fully vaccinated would continue to be vulnerable. Because of that, those who are vaccinated, they are going to be vulnerable. While it is a fact of evolution that viruses would mutate to be able to avoid antibodies and vaccines, therefore would have to keep being upgraded. It seems that the moment appears to have come too soon. Usually these viruses, they keep changing. Mutate means to change. While it is a fact of evolution that viruses would mutate, why do they mutate? Why do they change? To be able to avoid antibodies and vaccines, therefore, would have to keep being upgraded because they change continuously. We have to upgrade, the vaccines have to be upgraded. And the problem over here, it seems that the moment appears to have come too soon. Within no time, the moment has come. The new variants, Delta variants. So people or the companies are not prepared. A country like India, in spite of being a major vaccine producer in the pre-pandemic era, has only now managed to get production lines to deliver 1 crore vaccines a day. Now it talks about India's position and to what extent it can produce the vaccines, how many. A country like India, in spite of being a major vaccine producer in the pre-pandemic era, before pandemic era, has only now managed to get production lines to deliver 1 crore vaccines a day. That's also a good number. While other vaccines are in the pipeline, new vaccines are in the pipeline. There is one important expression over here. Excuse me. One important expression over here in the pipeline. In the pipeline is an idiomatic expression, means what? Being planned. While other vaccines are in the pipeline, all of them are designed on the Wuhan virus platform. And although companies claim that the strength of mRNA and DNA based vaccine platforms lies in the ability to quickly tweak them to accommodate new variants, there are no reports yet anywhere in the world of vaccine makers specifying a timeline for vaccines that are tuned to the Delta variants. It talks about all these vaccines are based on the initial virus, and it also says there's one important word over here, tweak. Tweak means improve by making fine adjustments to it. They can deal with the new variants, but no company has come up with the statement saying that they would bring out a new vaccine to deal with Delta variants. Vaccine makers who may have got emergency use authorizations but are a while away from launch. Some companies may have got emergency use authorizations but are a while away from launch. They may take some time to launch the new vaccines. Should ideally move to making vaccines for the Delta variants and not rely on their existing pipeline. So, the bottom line, the main idea of the editorial, the companies, those who have got authorizations, they're about to launch a new vaccine. They should ideally move to making vaccines for the Delta variants and not rely on their existing pipeline. They should not depend on the same old vaccines, but they have to work on the new vaccines which can deal with Delta variants. That's what the editorial talks about. So it's all about the new vaccines that can deal with Delta variants. And the existing vaccines, they are able to fight, but they are not able to completely stop the virus, Delta variants, though they are able to bring down the fatality rate. Now, let us see the questions based on this editorial. What is this editorial about? You should be able to write. What did a recent study by CSIR scientists find? There is one sentence that talks about the findings of CSIR scientists. You should write about that. In the context of the editorial, what is within expected numbers? The editorial talks about something is within expected numbers. What is that? Why do viruses mutate? The reason viruses always mutate. Why do they mutate? India has managed to deliver how many vaccines a day? You have to mention the number, clearly mentioned in the editorial. Now let us go to practice questions based on exam topics. And the first five questions deal with error location. Not easy. You got to read very carefully. Today, error location questions. If you get all the five correct, that will be a pleasant surprise and it is going to be a wonder, something like astonishing. Please read very carefully. 1 crore, that's right. Excuse me. Yes, consortium means association of companies or organizations. So where is the error? Sentence number one, error location. Oh, Nagamani, first one to answer. Wonderful. That too, you got it right. Really highly appreciable. Here it is not born out. That is wrong. It should be born out. Borne. Here, born out is, don't separate the words. Born out is an idiomatic expression. It means something that supports the truth, the veracity of something, something that is supporting, that supports the truth. So, born a fact born out by the manufacturing, supported by a fact supported by. That's how you have to look at it. Very good. You guys have got it right. Let us go to question number two. I thought it would be difficult, but within no time, you guys have got it right. Policymakers must remain laser focused on expediting vaccination coverage and taking fiscal measures to ensure overall consumption demand does not weaken no further. Where is the error? Sentence number two, fourth part. What is the error? You have to mention the correct expression. Less is not correct. Fourth part, but what is the problem over there? Here we have does not, negative expression. No further. It is double negative. We cannot use double negatives, not acceptable in English. So it is not correct. And what is the correct expression? Nothing wrong with does not. No further is not correct. It should be any further. Does not weaken any further, not no further. Any further. Any should be there. Any further. That's right. This is a bit confusing, not that easy. No problem, no problem. But you could spot the fourth part, there is an error. That itself is enough, but always better if you know what exactly the problem is. No, in place of it, we should use any further. Only then it is complete. Please go to question number 3. Has, no, no. Automakers have done. Second part, rising raw material costs, prices, costs, they rise. So you got to be careful whenever you come across verbs like rise and raise. Rising raw material costs, nothing wrong. Have been forcing, costs have been forcing manufacturers to either absorb the impact or no. Rising prices does not make any sense over here. Absorb the impact or raise prices. Yes, who is this Bhagwan? That's right. After that, Armugam, raise prices, as several automakers have done, risking the prospect of dampening the already tenuous demand. Hmm. It is not rising prices, raise prices. Here it is a transitive verb. Here it is an intransitive verb. Rising, raise prices. The question is about confusing verbs. I have a bad throat, please excuse me. This is question number 4. Read very carefully. Raise prices, that is a transitive verb. There's an object and nothing wrong with that. Once you change the verb, it cannot be rise, raise. Question number 4. From the date of issue, nothing wrong. No. I thought you would focus on something else. Huh. Here, this is the question of the day. You may ask why. The snow leopard and black-necked crane. There are two animals over here, one animal, one bird, and shall be the state. Many students may think will and shall, they go with first person singular and first person plural. With other pronouns, we should use only will. Based on that, they may think there is an error in the second part. Please listen very carefully. But the sentence talks about an order. Already you have learned shall, it is part of future tense, will or shall, that is one thing. But all the helping verbs, they have specific functions. Shall has two functions. What is the first one? It is used to make a request for instructions, suggestions, and proposals. That is the first function of shall. What is the second function of shall? It is used to express rules and regulations. It is used to express rules and regulations. So here it talks more about rules and regulations, and it's an order. The clue for you, order, an order. Based on that, there's nothing wrong with shall. Shall is absolutely right and reads an order issued by Lieutenant Administration of Ladakh. So the sentence is absolutely right. There is no mistake or error whatsoever. Hope you guys have listened carefully. There is no error in the sentence. Sentence is correct. Why is it correct? Shall here it does not talk about future. It talks about a regulation. Rules and regulations we have to use the helping verb shall. And the clue for you order. Yes. That is a question of the day. Please go to question number 5. That is based on the rules you have already learned. The rule you have already learned. Shall. Shall is an important helping verb. Very important. It has two different functions. One is a request for instruction, suggestion, and proposals. Second one, rules and regulations. Please go to question number 5. Ignore opponent's criticism, buy time and hit back silently. Seems to be the strategy of TRS Supremo and Chief Minister. If the recent shuffle of some top bureaucrats is any indication, this is again very difficult, not easy, but you can spot which part has an error. Already some students have done it, but they haven't got the correct expression. It is not buy time. Buy is not correct. It should be BIDE. Bide time. Bide time is an important expression, idiomatic expression. It means wait for the right time. Wait for the right time. What is the word here? Bide. BIDE. Bide time means wait for the right time. Wait for an opportunity. Has anyone got all the 5 correct? Some students must have got 4. All the 5 correct, I doubt. The toughest one. I feel question number 4 the toughest, related to shall. This is also very difficult. You cannot expect the word, you cannot think of the word bide, BIDE. Please go to sentence improvement questions. 3 out of 5. Answer is right. 3 out of 5, 3 out of 5. Not easy. Where is the error? Please excuse me. So the continues and getting disturbed. Third part is correct. Why is it correct? Here, clinical trials is not correct. It should be clinical trials. So at the outset, this is ruled out. Clinical trials have shown that they range from 70% to 90%. Clinical trials has shown not correct. Clinical trials have shown again not correct. So what is the answer here? How can we say clinical trials? That is not correct. Answer is it is the first question, not the third question. First question, answer is the first option. Clinical trials have shown that they range from 70% to 90%. Yes, answer is the first one. Please go to question number 2. You have to read very carefully. Whether I speak or not, that doesn't matter. I don't use. If I speak also, I don't use Hindi over here. I use only English. Who is this? Rocky Rocks Gaming. Second one, the Kerala police on Wednesday arrested a person in connection to. In connection to is not correct. And a person in connection with an incident, this seems right. A person in connection with incident and should be there, so it is not correct. For is not correct. What is the answer? The first option is the answer. Go to question number 3. In connection with an accident or incident. I think it is incident. While it is still debatable whether the Taliban have changed over the past 20 years, American foreign policy thinking had clearly changed during this period. Question number 2 is over. Please go to question number 3. No one has responded. Now I see. Second option. Yes, it is a standard phrase in connection with, not a combination, a phrase, standard phrase in connection with an incident or an event, a standard expression. Here, while it is still debatable whether the Taliban have changed over the past 20 years, have changed. Which tense is that? Present perfect. Why present perfect for the first clause? Because a time phrase for the last 20 years, over the past 20 years. And during this period means the same time phrase is applicable for the past 20 years or for the last 20 years or over the past 20 years. Then we cannot use past perfect. Here we have used a present perfect. Even here we have to use, oh, thank you very much. Even here we have to use present perfect. We cannot use past perfect. Has been clearly changed, but it is in passive voice, not correct. Was cannot be used. The third option, American foreign policy thinking has clearly changed. Answer is the third option. Wonderful. Those have got the third option, very good. The clue for you during this period, during the same period, the same time phrase should be considered, and based on that we have to use present perfect tense. Question number 4. Fourth one should be easy, should not be that difficult. The High Court bench observed that all stakeholders must focus on crucial points like imposing a radius of restriction at Ganesh pandals, restricting volumes of loudspeakers, and minimizing movement of devotees on Tangbund and Necklace Road on the day of immersion. This is not that difficult based on already have got similar questions. 4-2. No. Answer is the fourth option. Vijayan has got it right. No correction required. What is the reason? Here, parallel expression, imposing, restricting, minimizing. The verb should be in ing form. Movement of devotees, that nothing wrong with that, on Tankbund and Necklace Road. So answer is the fourth option, no correction required. Very good. Asha also has got it right. Vijaya Bonu has got it right. Sandeep. and Hari Krishna, all these students. Wonderful. Please go to question number 5. It has been 75 years since we secured freedom from the British. It is time we show the supremacy of the people in a democratic government. Question number 5, where is the error? Fourth option. No, no, not correct. Sentence is not correct. There is an error. The clue for you, it is time. Please listen very carefully. When you use the expressions, it is time, it is high time, then we have to use a clause in the past, not in present. We show is not correct. It is time we shown, again grammatically not correct. It is time we showed. It is time we showed the supremacy, or supremacy. It is time we showed supremacy of the people, the supremacy of the people. Answer is the second option. Always remember, it is time, it is high time. These expressions take, the clause should be in the past form, cannot be in any other form. Based on that, it is the second option. Has anyone got all the 5 correct? Sentence improvement. Don't use V1, V2, V3. Use present, past, past participle. That's a wrong approach, I have told many a time. Now let us go to the next set of questions, but only 3 questions because of it takes a lot of time. You see 2 columns, A, B, C, column 1, D, E, F, column 2. And first you listen to me. Last time when I brought, some students said very easy. Today, to make it quite challenging, you have 2 columns. First, you have to see whether they're contextually right or wrong, and you have to see whether they're grammatically correct or incorrect. 2 things you have to. One is grammatically, and the other one contextually. So don't be hasty. Please listen, Rajshekhar. All of you, please listen to me. Today, these questions are not easy for 2 reasons. One, you have to match contextually, that is rather easy. The other, grammatically, they should be correct grammatically. No, no, you guys are not listening. Please listen very carefully. They should be grammatically correct, not only contextually. AF is wrong. I'll write here. Then you understand what I'm talking about. AF is not correct. Balu Nayak, no, no. AF is wrong. B, D is also wrong. He said that all suggestions and advice given by the respondents would be included in the order to be passed on Monday for peaceful conduct of the festival. Answer is CE. Answer is CE. What is the reason? Just about 21% of students attended the schools on the first day. You have to use the first day of the reopening of schools in the state on Wednesday. The is missing. Before ordinal numbers, we have to use the first, the second, the third. The senior official reiterated that unless is a negative word, you cannot use another negative expression in the same clause. Unless a new and more infectious variant of coronavirus is not correct, emerges. Answer is CE. Hope you guys got it. That's why I said don't be hasty. Not easy today. Listen to the instructions. Only CE is correct. Please go to question number 2 based on the columns. No, unless is correct, but you cannot use one more negative expression in the same clause. When I brought similar questions last time, some students said very easy. Keeping that in mind, I had to bring. Vijayendra says AE. AE is not correct, Vijayendra. No, not correct. Why is it not correct? Let others also respond. BF, very good. Here, only BF is correct. BF, correct. And CD, wrong. Why? Union Home Minister Amit Shah is visiting Karnataka on Thursday to attend a string of events. You cannot say string of event. String of events. The noun should be in the plural form. So AE is not correct. Students of class 9 to 12 were welcomed back on school campuses across Tamil Nadu on Wednesday with a slew of safety measures. So perfect. BF is correct. YCD is not correct. Liberalism and nationalism mean different things to different people. And the two concepts are the adverb of frequency should be when there are two verbs in a sentence. The adverbs of frequency should be after the first verb. What are the two verbs over here are considered? Then we have to use the word often, not here. Are often considered. Are often considered. Yes, of course, back on school campuses. Once I say it is correct, it is correct. Don't go back on that. Yes, back on school campuses, not in school campuses. So answer is, what is the answer? BF is the answer. They are often considered. Two verbs. After the first one, we have to use the adverb of frequency. Please go to the next one. BF. What is wrong with the first one? Our simulations do not include testing and tracing. Although this is one way of keeping any increase in cases in check, nor does it include the possibility of new variants. Nothing wrong with AD. The semiconductor shortage continue is not correct, continues to impact the auto industry globally. And recent lockdowns in East Asia have aggravated the supply situation. You cannot consider BF wrong. Shortage continues to impact. By the time he took office, the Taliban were at their strongest since 2001, and he was left with two choices: follow the agreement or send thousands of more troops in, Mr. Biden said. Nothing wrong with CE. So, what is the answer here? AD is correct and CE also correct. BF not correct. Has anyone got all the three correct? Yes, Vijayabhanu, CE and AD. Please go to para jumble. Again, not that easy. 6 parts, a bit difficult to get the correct order. Two out of three. You could have got all the three correct. You were a little hasty, the first one. Had you listened to the instructions carefully, you'd have got all the three correct. Not that difficult. What is the first one over here? D. Sirisha has already answered. Parajumble 1D. Yes, that's right. India is at the risk of being cast globally as an outlier on climate action with a negative fallout. No, 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 no. Answer the first one is D, not F. 1D, that is right. What is the second one? DB. With over 50% of the global economy already committed to net zero emissions by 2050, and China committing to be so before 2060. B is correct. C is rather easy, should not be a problem. Two is not F, two is B. D, B, and what is the third one? F is not correct. No, no, no. Third one is E. This is not where you want to be. Here, E is the third one. This is not where you want to be. The pace and scale of climate action is only set to increase with the recent Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report unequivocal on the need for urgent and stronger responses. F is the fourth one. Events around the world underline the point. C and A connected, continuation. Based on that, CA. So, what is the correct order? D, B, E, F, C, A. The last two are easy, should not be that difficult. Yes, perfect. Who is this? Nagamani has got it right. D, B, E, F, C, A. That is the correct order. Let us go to idioms, the last set. By opposing his proposal, he fell foul of him. Fall foul of someone. Yes, that's right. Ravi Teja. Very tough. Sai Arvind. Not easy. That's what I said at the outset. And you got to spend some time. Usually, para jumble, you need to spend 2 or 3 minutes. Here, I think you have got not even a minute, maybe a minute or 1.5 minutes, not more than that. Not easy. Live session under pressure. What is the answer? Fall foul of someone. 1, 2. It is not correct. 1, 4. Mohan has got it right. Get got into trouble with, get into trouble with. Fall foul of someone, get into trouble with someone. 1, 4. Get into trouble. They in the past got into trouble. The failure of crops in successive years put the farmer in a tight corner. This is the idiomatic expression, in a tight corner. Someone is in a tight corner. What does it mean? This is easy to guess based on the context. One is over, go to the second one. In a difficult situation, that's right. In a difficult situation, the effort to trace the culprit was a wild goose chase. I think we have got this once or twice. A wild goose chase. Excuse me. What is the answer for the third one? Second option. Futile effort or futile search. Wild goose chase means what? Futile. Futile means a wasted. It is not going to give a positive result. Put two and two together. Easy one. Futile search, futile effort. Effort also you can say. What is the answer for the fourth question related to idioms? Put two and two together. Reason logically. That's right. What is the answer here? Reason logically. Put two and two together means reason, think logically. Reason logically. The last one. To have a green thumb means what? Green thumb, green fingers. Green thumb, American English. Green fingers, British English. They both mean the same. I think idioms are easy today. I'm sure many students will get all the five correct. What is the answer for the last one, question number 5, based on idioms? We are running out of time. Fifth one, third option. To have a natural interest in gardening. To be good at gardening, actually, but still painted green, not correct. Artistic, not correct. Green tattoo on the thumb, not correct. Answer is the third option. Today, for a change, I haven't brought the meanings. You have to guess the meanings only for today, because only 8 words, many of these words are easy to familiar words. Yes, yes, that's a good example. All the five correct. Today, the idioms are easy, not that difficult. All the five should not be a problem. What is the meaning of breakthrough? Breakthrough research, breakthrough innovation, breakthrough developments, breakthrough cases or infections based on the context. Turning point, that's right. I will not write the meaning. Turning point, yes. Sudden development, that's also right. Inoculate. Inoculate means what? Turning point, sudden development, vaccinated, vaccinate. New discovery, sudden new discovery, yes. Inoculate, vaccinate. Discernible, discernible changes means what? Perceptible, very good. Discernible means perceptible. Paradox, we have got many a time. Paradoxical situation. Vaccinate. Paradoxical, paradox. Both positive and negative situation at the same time. Yes. Contradictory things exist at the same time. Paradoxical. You can say controversy in one word. Mutation goes with viruses, genes, gene mutation, genetic mutation, changes. That's right. Lineage, sublineage, the editorial. In the editorial, you have come across the expression sublineage, but lineage means what? Lineage is not ageist. Lineage means continuation of certain features or qualities or characteristic features, ancestry, hereditary. Yes, inheritance. That's right. Wonderful. In the pipeline, that's an idiomatic expression. Being planned in the pipeline, something is in the pipeline. Tweak means adjust. Yes, adjusting, improve by adjusting, adding something. In the pipeline is an important idiomatic expression. Yes, that's right. That's all for today from today's editorial session. Thanks for being with me till 7:56. Have a nice day. And do remember to subscribe and share. Join the Telegram group. All that you have to do, click on the link. After the session, I'll provide the